Alright, what is going on everybody, it's Liam here, and today's video I have a commentary for y'all, and I'm going to be ranking the schools in Season 3, 5th Age PvP. Now, keep in mind, videos like these often come down to opinion, so, please be respectful about your opinions in the comments below, as usual, but yeah, let's get right into it. So coming in at the #1 spot, I have to put Myth. Now, I put Myth at the last stage before, simply because I was looking at Myth from a different viewpoint. I didn't think everybody would resort to troll spamming and zero pip tri-shield spamming like they are in the meta right now. I was looking at Myth like from the stance of like, okay, it has everything, like it has too much things. It's probably gonna deck fill and not be that good. However, people just troll and spam zero pip shields and call it a day right now, and that just works in the meta, unfortunately. That being said though, Myth does have some pretty good stats, and again, they have like, obviously everything to counter every scenario, so it's a really good school in the meta. I just think Troll and Zero Pip Tri-Shields need to be looked at. Next up, I think I'm going to be putting Life. Now, I was thinking about Life or Balance here, but I think Life just has slightly more value. They have the best stats in the game right now. Luminous tiered up is an absolute monster. I mean, just look at that, bro. Just look at that. Combine this with, like, some of the raid gear and Caterpillar being a 5-pip hit that gives 800 extra health, which is absolutely crazy. Again, troll meta with Grenadier. It's absolutely insane the amount of value you can get on a Life Wizard, and it's just a very basic and easy school to play. You can heal and do well, you can play aggro and do well, right? And it's one of those schools that is so good that you don't really need to ward anybody unless you're, really bad at one matchup or, you're just desperate for a win. But, yeah, it's kind of nice to see Life up here. I don't mind playing my Life, but I don't know, man. When stuff's meta, I don't play it as much, and you guys can kind of see that on the channel. Coming in at the #3 spot, I think, again, I'm going to put Balance. Now, Balance is really good in the current meta. It literally has so many options. And the reason I put it behind Life is because Life is a little bit more formulaic and easy to understand. Yes, I'm aware, Balance just, the gaze, brace, burn, gaze, brace, burn, right? They can lore master now too, though. And as much as I hate, lore and burn spam, any kind of spam, it actually does throw a skill curve into the meta of, okay, do I burn or do I lure here, right? And a lot of people are getting better at countering Hydra and stuff like that as well. Balance is not a bad school at all in the meta at the moment. It just got a little bit harder to play because players adapted, but if you're a good Balance, you can win probably almost every game. Coming in at the #4 spot, I'm gonna have to put Death. Now, I would tie Death and Storm, but the reason I put Death above Storm right now is, I mean, there's a lot of reasons. There's Headless, which is a Storm card. Death has some of the best stats in the game at 150, objectively speaking, right? Grim Reader is always a good move, right? It can be, an open shard. It can be a debuff shard. It can be a pure utility shard, and it's a good move. There's no counters to drains in the meta right now. And again, cards like Dumoni have, they can gain pips spamming 0-pip tri-shields and set it up, pretty much instantly. There's not a lot of time to react with this. So I think all of these reasons just make Death an absolute menace in the current meta. Again, if Death had a couple things like Headless was nerfed, or there's a counter to drains, or tri-shields weren't broken, I'd probably put Storm ahead of Death, but, as it stands, like, objectively, when you, write the things down, Death is just better and, a really good school right now, so we'll be putting it at #4. Next up, I'm gonna put Storm. Now, I'm putting Storm a bit more towards the pack, but I don't think it's a bad school. Ever since the recent resist change, which is like -10 resist when you're hitting through shield, it's actually not a bad school at all. I just think KingsIsle needs to keep making good gear for Storm. That is a very important thing. Because again, like, the Merciless robe is just so horrible. Like, just look at it, bro. Then look at the Death robe. It's so bad, right? Yeah, I don't really think Storm needs any buffs or nerfs. If they're gonna do anything to Storm, I think they should look into buffing, heal overtimes, because they're the worst. Shield damage are the best, and heal overtimes are the worst with how things work in the game at the moment. And just simply nerfing the other schools would, you know, put Storm up. I don't think it needs a nerf. I don't think it needs a buff. I think it's like just at that right spot right now. As long as King Saul keeps making good gear, obviously. Next up, I'm going to be putting Ice. Now, Ice went from number 1, I believe, in my last video, or 2, to going towards the back of the pack. And this is simply because of the resist change. Now, is Ice a bad school? No, absolutely not, right? I've been doing pretty good on my Ice so far. You know, I get stream snipers quite a lot. I play Glass Cannon Ice. I have been for 2 seasons now. It's not bad at all. People just have to, you know, move away from the immune build, which is double Highland, you know, 78 resist or whatever. People need to learn to move away from that and, you know, improvise and experiment with other builds. Because at the end of the day, bro, like, you have the utility, you have the health to, you know, play good with literally any build. It's just players really don't want to. They want to take the easiest way out, unfortunately. So, I think Ice is still a really good school. I hope to see more Ices in queue. It just became more skillful, to be honest, with the resist change. You can't sit on 10 million resist anymore and, like, you know, act like you're a good player. You actually have to engage, play smart to win now, and I think that's a good thing. Again, they have a lot of utility, a lot of health, pretty good stats, cards like Snowman, which is insane, Reindeer Knight, right? They have a lot going for it. Players just need to adapt to the meta, I think, but I do think it got substantially worse in the Season 3 meta. Coming in at the last place, man, you already know, Fire. I think Fire's been last place like 3 times in a row, and I feel bad for you Fire mains. But yeah, unless you trap stack on a Fire, which a lot of people don't want to do, you have to overtime, but then there's so many counterplays to overtimes, and overtimes are kind of bad. You know, just play a different school at that point. But yeah, trap stack Fire is a whole nother beast, like it's a whole meta in of itself, but if players don't want to do that and want to try and overtime to be the school identity, Fire doesn't really offer that anymore, right? You would play a Death, you would play an Ice, because they have better overtimes for, you know, better pips, right? So, I really think they need to buff overtime Fire play. Also, Fire stats along with Storm are just really freaking bad, and I really hope the raid gear does correct that. I think I have 1 piece of boots I got from the raid boss actually here. Yeah, I got the Fiery Void boots right here, so hopefully this stuff is a lot better for Fire, you know. I'm really hoping so. I want my Fire mains to, you know, get some love. I like playing Fire as well. So, yeah, that's my ranking, guys. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree in the comments below. Again, just be respectful. That's all I ask. And yeah, without further ado, I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for being here. And as always, take care, guys.